Sudan has entered the second week, with over 600 people killed, including one US citizen. Why are these generals fighting themselves? Why are they destroying their people? Why are they destroying properties that will take them years and resources to replace? All of these things are what I will be talking about in this video. So if you're new to this channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button and put on the notification bell to get notified whenever we drop new videos. And to our returning viewers, thank you so much for your support. With you, we are growing this channel. Now let's dive into the gist of the moment.
Crisis in Sudan, where at least one American is among the more than 600 who are confirmed dead. The U.S. military is now preparing for the possible evacuation of American citizens. And of course,
General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has taken control and kicked out the prime minister. People are really angry. They're back on the streets like they were 2 years ago. That's when they brought down a president they blamed for 30 years of oppression.
So for over 1 week now, there have been war in Sudan between the military and the paramilitary side fighting themselves, which has resulted in the loss of lives of Sudan citizens and other citizens, including one United States of America citizen. Properties have been destroyed, lives have been destroyed. The question is, why are these generals fighting themselves? Why are they destroying their people and properties that would eventually take them years and millions, if not billions of money to replace? Let's roll back to 2019 when the people of Sudan trooped into the streets demanding for their then president Omar al-Bashir, who ruled the nation for 30 years, to leave the power to enable them, the people, to elect those that would represent them in government. The people protested for months, and it's as if they're not getting results or positive answer for what they are requesting for. But eventually, at the end of the day, the military came in and they carried out a successful coup.
General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has taken control and kicked out the prime minister. People are really angry. They're back on the streets like they were 2 years ago. That's when they brought down a president they blamed for 30 years of oppression.
This is 2019, and you can see how happy the people of Sudan were because what they were requesting for at that time, for their then president Omar al-Bashir to leave power, came to pass. The military carried out a successful coup. You can see how happy people were, jubilating all over Sudan that the then president, who has spent 30 years in power, has finally left office. So while the people were still jubilating, the military established what they called TMC, Transitional Military Council, that would enable them oversee the affairs of the nation until they elect people into power. But this decision did not go well with the people, who said they did not, carry out this revolution fight for them to hand over power to the military. So they went back to the streets demanding that the military should hand over power to the people.
People, they came, they set up their tents, and they just refused to leave in front of the army headquarters. And their demands was very clear that we want the military to hand in the government to the civilians. And we want to move towards democracy, and we want to move towards peace.
But there was nothing peaceful about the military government, because they ended up harming the poor civilians, that trooped out to the street, demanding that they should hand over power to the people.
That is the scene.
More than 100 people were killed in what became known as the Khartoum Massacre.
Armed forces attacked the protesters with live ammunition.
It was a horrific situation. People's bodies were thrown into the Nile. Women and men were sexually assaulted and raped.
The people remained in the streets of Sudan, and they eventually got what they were requesting for.
Eventually, the military agreed to share power. So, the military leaders, the TMC, made a deal with the group that basically represented the protesters. That's the FFC, the Forces of Freedom and Change. They agreed to share power for 39 months in a new transitional government and then hold elections. Both sides had seats on a joint committee called the Sovereign Council. That was led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Remember, he's the guy who just led the coup. There was also a civilian cabinet led by Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. Now, for a while, it looked like Sudan was on track and transitioning towards democracy. But that transition was completely derailed by what happened in late October, when General al-Burhan decided to seize power. He dissolved the Sovereign Council, pushed out the Prime Minister, and declared a state of emergency.
It's a naked, brutal power grab. What he is trying to do is to tear up the aspirations of the Sudanese people as expressed in the 2019 revolution.
Okay.
Military were never comfortable with sharing power with the civilians. So the grudge was there.
Having two parts of the governments that are not actually in agreement, in terms of their political agenda, in terms of their ultimate goals, has been extremely problematic.
Weeks before Burhan was supposed to hand over his chair to a civilian one, that's why he decided to turn the tables against everyone.
But General Fattah did not hand over power to the people.
Sudan was on its way to getting $50 billion in debt relief, and there were promises of even more international aid. But most of that was tied to Sudan's democratic transition, and now that that's in doubt, so is the money.
We have had debt rescheduling, debt relief, the lifting of the state sponsors of terror designation, the beginnings of economic normalization.
So this means that the military are in full control of the nation's affairs.
And that can be credited to the civilian leadership, and especially to Abdallah Hamdok. Now, there is no chance that the United States, the European Union, the World Bank, etc., are going to come in and say, oh, we don't mind having the democratic transition torn up.
So General Abdel said he took over power from the civilians, from the Prime Minister, to ensure that the security of the nation is in order, because the civilian government, they were fighting themselves. So General Abdel said he's still very much interested in giving power back to the civilians, but then that he took over power from the Prime Minister to ensure that their security is still in order, because the civilians and institutions were fighting each other. But the people never believed him. So he said he will conduct election in 2023 and hand over power to the civilians. I hope the generals will stop fighting themselves, will stop killing their people, and allow the will of the people to prevail, which is to allow them to elect those that they want to represent them in government. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.